Howdy, folks. It's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness. It's the mid-afternoon. We are continuing our game of Britannia. This is game turn 2. We have pushed the turn marker up. This turn represents 110 through 185 AD. Yep, a 75-year-long game turn. That's standard for most of the game turns in Britannia. There are no invaders or raiders showing up. The Romans do not get any reinforcements. Just the nations on the board will be able to grow, other than the Welsh. Since they have submitted, they will not be able to grow unless the Romans allow them. The other countries potentially can grow if they're still alive. So it is the Romans' turn, and they have to decide how they want to react. Obviously, they want to keep pushing north as far as they can. There's a lot of points way up there in Scotland that if they don't push hard and fast, they will not be able to reach there. There's also this trouble in their backfield. There seemed to be a little rebellion and fighting going on there. So maybe they want to crush those rebels. Let's think this through. So there's two Belgae armies here, so this is obviously a potential target for attack. There's one here. It is in the Highlands. It'd be nice to get rid of those Belgaes, but I'm going to put a little small arrow for now. Notice that we do have a Roman army down here, so they can potentially team up here. Norfolk was never occupied, and the Belgians left it when they came down here to attack. So potentially the Romans can take that also. So the Brigantes, as we saw previous video, they decided to defend at the border. This will cause the Romans some problems. Assuming the Romans want to push as far as fast as they can, the best route is on this east coast. Because otherwise, if they come up this way, they're going to hit the Highlands, which means on the next turn, they're not going to be able to go as far and fast through, because only, by overrunning, they'll only have gotten here with a small force, and they won't be able to push through. So this is the obvious route here, up this way. And I'm going to actually put, the intention of the potential to penetrate through. You can overrun and overrun again and keep pushing through like we did earlier. Again, the Romans moving 3, whereas the regular armies only move 2. Another thought here, well, can we smash the whole front line? Well, the Romans might want to do that. I'm going to make that a smaller consideration here, but if they're wanting to smash Belgae and drive up here, they might not be able to do enough. The Brigantes, to be forced to submit to the Romans, have to get down to 3 or less provinces. This would be, I think, actually... well, yeah, I think it could be attempted if no attacks were made on the Belgae. I think they could get through. Well, no, it might be just short one. These guys here, one disadvantage of committing so much early into the backfield of the Welsh is these guys, they're going to want to leave, but they're going to have to stop here, or they could come across this way. One advantage of coming up this way is on this third turn they can head up this way. If they come down here, they're only going to be able to get up this far. But if they brought one or more armies down here, potentially on the third turn, these guys could run across the coast and potentially start defending forts. There is one raiding Irish coming in the third turn. And on the fourth turn, there's going to be a whole bunch of different raiders coming in. There's Utes and Saxons and Angles. There's 3 Saxons, 3 Angles, 2 Utes, another 2 Irish, 1 Scot. Now, the Irish, they do their stuff over here. The Scots are up there. The Utes and the Saxons are coming over here. The Angles are here. So potentially, though, these coasts are all going to be threatened as of turn 4, mostly. The turn 3, there's just a single Irish that's coming on. So that turn 4 and 5 are start to get a little exciting down here as people try to compete for which areas that they can smash on. So this is a thought of where, do we want to send guys this way to help defend these coasts or not? Or should they try to push fastest this way? Second turn, third turn. They all get to go on the 4th turn before those raiders show up. So this probably makes sense to come up this way, because that gives them, because there's nothing going to be able to do other than potentially the Irish coming in on turn 3. This might be the Irish's target. Doesn't really make sense for the Roman to leave much strength behind here, any strength behind here, really, because they don't get Lemus points for forts alive in Wales, as I mentioned before, only in England. So it doesn't really make sense for them to try to worry about that. So I think we just need to make a stab for it. In our little narrative, the Romans definitely want to spank the Belgaes. They had a little rebellion. They have some hope to resist the empire. Well, the empire is going to strike back, right? As one viewer said, yes, the empire will strike back. The Roman Empire is going to do stuff. So let's assume as a minimum we're going to come in here with 2 armies. Now, one thing we can do is Downlands. Downlands is a concern. We have to think about the Downlands. Let's assume we're not. Yeah, we've got stuff to do. We don't want these guys to retreat into the Downlands. Well, technically, they wouldn't be able to. If these guys get an opportunity to retreat, they can retreat to a place where they have guys in, which there's none adjacent. They can retreat to an empty spot as long as the attacking nation does not have any forces next to. So technically, these forts count as regular armies. They're a force. Now one could say, they're a fort and you'd have to actually have a troop, but we're not planning on leaving anything back here. We're going to want to occupy this before, well, Downlands for, they have to occupy by turn 2. It is worth 1 point by the end of turn 3. So this one of these guys here could get it on 3. Occupy one of those for do. Yes, you'd have to stop if they entered. What I was thinking is there is, well, he's here. I'm going to try to look, see if it words it. It says an army next to you, retreat priority. Do. Battles. Retreats and continuing where the defender retreats. Adjacent areas which are vacant are not adjacent to an area occupied by the attacking nation's armies. A Roman fort is treated like, let's see what it says here. This fort acts as a normal army that cannot move. It is considered an army. Okay, so these guys are not going to be able to retreat. Because this is next to armies. You wouldn't be able to retreat here. Could be next to this armies, etc. So I think we're good. Now, technically, we could like have him move into here and then here to say, okay, he definitely can't retreat to where the attacker's coming from. So that seals that off for certain. Okay, now 2 on 2, that seems like even odds, but again, these are Roman armies hitting on a 4, 5, 6. These guys are only hitting back on a 6. We don't have a lot of spare, and if we want to try to kill both of these, we might only do this here. 2 on 2 in the open. This guy here is going to move into Norfolk and keep moving. And one of the things is you can place a fort even if you are moving through. They've occupied it. They can keep going and leave it. They still get the fort. They've taken it over. All right. So he can come in from here. Okay, now think about this guy. Okay, I almost certainly want to have 2 to 1 on that. That's it. We are doing that. We are doing that. But we could bring a guy from back here. Let this guy push up faster. This guy can come over. All right. So again, we've definitely brought armies in from here. There's no way that they can retreat there. Even no matter how you interpret that rule about do the Roman forts prevent the retreat. Obviously can't retreat there now, but we've entered there from here and here. We've entered this one from here and here. There's a fort there. So these guys will not be able to retreat. All right. Now, penetrate. What we need to do is take the guys the farthest away. All right, and move those into here. And we now have 4 against our 2. We're using 4 so that we're overrunning. We have twice as many. So now we can penetrate through here. 1, 2, and we have twice as many. We can do it again. 1, 2, 3. This guy here, 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're doing double overrun, and we'll go ahead and have 2 here. Again, hopefully we can kill this guy and have 2 left. So then on turn 3, we leapfrog. Guys from here can rush into here to overrun, hit these other places. They leapfrog up to here, and this guy tries to penetrate into there. The picks are going to do something. The Brigantes might, rearrange and attack or defend in a certain way. Who knows? We will see. But this is getting us as far north as we can. We are in striking range of getting these points in turn 3, potentially. Fortunately, we're having to leave this here because we are striking back against the rebels. And now we just have to decide what to do here. Downlands, either way, this guy can go. So, whoops. I think it makes most sense to bring him here to this central location. The Irish dude can land here. He can't land way over here. If we end up wanting to send some guys, we got guys here. The whole decision on how much do we keep throwing up here versus having dudes to occupy the coastal forts to try to keep some of those alive, as many as we can. Now, someone pointed out that there could have been a better strategy of where the Belgaes might have attacked or not, and maybe leaving Essex alone to let maybe some other nation that's going to raid later hit it and take something else a little more internal. There's some good valid points there. One thing that by hitting these coasts now, potentially some of these raiding guys is like, once these Romans say move, like, oh, we're done here, we've killed this guy, and there's no reason to stay here. a raiding guy, say something with the Frisian, could move 2 and go inland and go like here and hit something farther in, like the Downlands or South Mercia. Now, they wouldn't want to normally hit. If the Downlands was unoccupied, they could get their self in there. But let's see. Yeah, there's really only a penetration about to South Mercia there. But that is a possibility. Yep. So anyway, I think this looks good. Yep, we're moving them there. We've done that. All right. So we've done our attacks. We had to leave the site alone, which unfortunately here means the Brigantes could decide to come down this way. But they might not want to spread out that way. We'll worry about that when we get to them. Okay, we're 15 minutes in. Let's keep going. Let's finish this up. We'll stop after the Roman turn like we've been doing. So now it's time for battles. Let's get the old dice tower in position so you guys can see the rolling. Yeah, there you go. You'll be able to see all that. For the most part there, if I can actually back just a tad. Let's start against the Belgae. So here in the south, this is 2 attackers needing 4, 5, or 6s. It's in the clear. The red defenders needing 6s to hit back at the Romans, all right? And these guys cannot retreat. They cannot retreat here. They cannot retreat here. Unless you interpret the rule. It does say these are treated as armies. They just can't move. And according to the rule, if you control an area with an army in it, that you can't retreat to that. So they've got the backfield cover. So technically they can't retreat into the downlands. So hit and hit. Those are a miss. So they wipe out the Belgae. The whole issue is moot about the Belgae being able to do that or not. The Romans have their initial revenge against the rebels. The Roman Empire is feeling good. All right. Here they go in the ice planet Hoth. I mean, the swamps of Lindsey. We have 2 Romans needing 6s now against 1 Belgae needing a 6 because he's hitting back at Romans, and the Romans are hitting a dude in the swamp. So they're all needing 6s, but he can't retreat anywhere. And the Belgae are eliminated. They are completely gone. They never had a chance to grow the extra population. It was one disadvantage of coming out and attacking multiple spots. That's one of the commenters did say that, like, yeah, maybe they should have, kept something in the downlands, maybe not been quite so aggressive, had a little less force going out. They did manage to take both, and unfortunately this time they didn't get lucky, didn't get any hits, didn't get more points. If it had turned out differently, say, oh yeah, it's a great strategy, look at all the points you scored. Well, here's the downside is you attracted the attention of the Empire, and the Empire struck back. So there we go, folks. Their new hope was squashed. All right, so another fort we have taken. The Romans, we are playing all these positions. So that's something to remember, that these are going to be new points for the Romans. We need to keep track of the fact that which ones are new. Technically, you'd wait until the end of turn 3, but they actually have the spots on turns 1 and 2 and 3 to record points. And in one place in the rules, they say, like, we'll score the points right away. And on the card, they say, well, you wait until turn 3. So there are some inconsistency in the rules, but I just have to remember, I don't know, I'm going to have these sideways. and trust in my OCD to see, those are sideways. Oh, why? Oh, that was a reminder that I haven't scored those points yet. All right. So now the decision is what order to do these in. Well, let's just do the big front first, where they have the best chance of. Well, there could be one he's gonna. Doesn't matter. We're not. If he had more troops, they could have penetrated in and tried to take the Pennines, but they didn't. All right. So we're getting 4 attack dice. This is out in the open again, so it's needing 4 through 6s. The defender needs a 6. 4 dice. 2 dice. Only 1 hit. So the Brigantes are going to get to retreat. Okay, but they didn't score any points or anything for killing. They will elect to retreat to the Pennines there. Because they have it occupied, they can do that. They could have come over here. But no. Well, if they were here, so they could do, you could do some silly, crazy things. 2 armies could move into marsh. They could overrun and send it, and they could try to hit a bunch of stuff in the backfield. Again, that seems a little crazy talk. The Brigantes might want to try to stay strong and alive, and if the Romans are concentrating on hitting up here turn 3, the Brigantes can stay alive in this area. Potentially keep their growth going. So anyway, we will see what happens. They're going to retreat to the Pennines. All right. Next one up. This is Bernicia. So 2 dice against 1. The attacker's needing a 4 through 6s. Miss. Okay, this is we're getting some low hits here. Let's gotta watch out here. Yep, he's gonna retreat to the Pennines. They can have a 1 overstack. If this guy ends up getting lucky and retreating, he could retreat up here. Well, he could even retreat down here, but I think he would want to retreat to one of these. He's going to get his turn next, but yeah, those dudes surviving there. Okay, so the last hit. Let me go ahead and remove these as we've finished those battles. 2 dice, needing 4 through 6s. Get on a 6. Okay, so he gets killed. They survive. There we go. So they did manage to penetrate. They're at the border of Scotland / Pickland. They wiped out the Belgae. The Belgae scored 6 points. That's it. The Brigantes are nowhere near needing to submit, but we will see in future turns. So that was the Empire striking back, hitting at the Belgae rebels, and attempting to crush these as they go further towards the outer rim. I suppose you could say if we continue our silly Star Wars galactic metaphors. All right, the evil Empire. So that is the first beginning part of turn 2 of our Britannia. I will move this dice tower out of the way. So there we are. We'll score those points. Oh, yes. Forts. Here. 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 All right. Conquering points. So they did manage to take York. That's York right there, where they had to put 4 guys in there to overrun. So York is worth 2. Bernicia is worth 1. Lothian is there worth 1. Lindsay should be also worth 1. Norfolk should also be worth 1. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points for the Romans for occupation. The Brigantes didn't kill any. So while they managed to have 2 guys retreat, they didn't kill any Romans. So they didn't score any points for those. And they get 3. That was part of the reason, like, yeah, let's try to defend up front and see what we can do. I was hoping to score some 6s, kill some Romans, getting 3 points each. They didn't manage to do that. But they're looking to the future because they've got still a pretty big army. So there it is. We're at 26 minutes. Meandering Mike, Man Cave of Madness, the middle of the afternoon. We have finished the Roman turn 2 of Britannia. And so we will say to all you folks, take care and ciao.